Historically, the number 7 has been associated with great luck, with mysticism, even supernatural powers. Here, the number 7 just means you're a big fat disappointment. Number 8 of the Super Bowl era's biggest disappointments were the 1972 Baltimore Colts, and number 7 is coming up. But first, let's chat about C-Score. We created C-Score as a metric to evaluate all teams of the Super Bowl era beyond just looking at their records. For a deeper explanation about how C-Score works, be sure to check out the description of this video. There is but one and only one way for a team to make it onto this list, not that they're particularly looking to do so. They must land a positive C-score one season, increase that C-score to beyond 15 the following season, then drop down into the negatives the season after that, with this third season serving as the disappointment. The larger the drop from season 2 to season 3, the higher that disappointment will rank. They are universally known as America's team. If that's the case, then all of America were sorely disappointed in the performance of the most recently completed season of the Dallas Cowboys, with this 2024 squad taking our number 7 spot. Thank you for joining us today. Take a moment, if you would please, to like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and ding that notification bell. It helps us out tremendously. Let's get on with it then. Even though this took place just under 3 years ago, it's kinda easy to forget just how good the 2022 Dallas Cowboys were. At 12-5 for the second straight season, they put up a plus 125 point differential with high finishes in both points scored and points allowed. That landed them a C-score of 18.462. Where they fell short was in sharing the NFC East with the Philadelphia Eagles. A late season shootout victory over Philly was nice and all, but Dallas still finished 2 games behind them in the division. Every NFL team this season with more than 10 wins were crowned division champions. All except the Cowboys, while 2 teams with single-digit victories landed that elusive divisional crown. One of those teams, the Buccaneers, got their clocks cleaned by Dallas in the playoffs, which probably felt good for them. What didn't feel so good was taking a second consecutive playoff loss to the San Francisco 49ers, and for the second straight season, ending the game in bizarre circumstances. This added more fuel to the fire of what had now become a decades-long stigma against the Cowboys, that they could be as good as anybody during the regular season, but couldn't get it done in the playoffs. They were the underdogs against San Francisco this season, but they certainly were not the season before. For all their talent and success, and they had plenty of both this season, external circumstances did not fall in their favor. That is acceptable to a reasonable degree. But in order to shake this stigma, further amplified by the presence of head coach Mike McCarthy, 2023 would have to not only keep the train on the tracks, but finally guide it to its ultimate destination. And so, for a third consecutive season, Dallas put up a 12-5 record, but they did so this time with an even greater flourish. Plus 125 was a pretty good point differential, but how about plus 194? They led the league in scoring and were 5th best in points allowed. The schedule wasn't daunting, but they mowed through it, landing a C-score of 21.82. That gaudy point differential, the second best in the entire league, came despite 3 different losses by 12, 21, and 32 points, the last of those, once again, coming to the 49ers. For you see, the Cowboys won 9 different games by at least 20 points. If you turned on a random Cowboys game during this season, there was better than a 50-50 chance that they were beating another NFL team by at least 20 points. And this time, circumstances were more in their favor. favor. It was looking like they were heading toward a wildcard spot for the second consecutive season, once again at the expense of the Philadelphia Eagles. Instead, Philly collapsed down the stretch, going from 10-1 to 11-6. That gave Dallas the division title, landing them in a three-way tie atop the NFC. They wound up as the second seed, with their West Coast nemesis as the first. A Cowboys 49ers showdown in the NFC Championship game seemed predestined, given their three consecutive playoff meetings during the 1990s. A major difference now, though, was that the number 2 seed no longer got a bye into the divisional round. No worries though, no number 2 seed had ever lost to a 7 seed. Oh wait, yeah. Dallas didn't just lose this game, they were humiliated. This 48-32 final score means nothing. It was 27-0 and 48-16 at various points. The stigma was now a narrative. It's fairly well known, and has been mentioned before on this channel, that the Dallas Cowboys have not so much even been to an NFC Championship game since the 1995 season. What might be lesser known is that this 3-year run from 2021 through 2023 marked the first time ever that a team won 12 or more games in 3 straight seasons without once making it to the conference championship game. With their season once again prematurely over, could all their talent and all their success possibly be extended for one more season? Could the Cowboys finally make something of themselves? That would be a resounding no. If Dallas's record from 2023 downplayed them somewhat, then this 7-10 record in 2024 flattered them tremendously. They dropped from first in the league in scoring to 21st, but points allowed? Only the NFL record-breaking Carolina Panthers were worse. For the third straight season, their point differential was in the triple digits, but this time in the negatives. That's where their C-score was too, minus 14.837. That point differential of minus 118 represented a drop-off of 312 points from the season before. These Cowboys were, on average, more than 18 points per game worse. Let me analyze that really quickly. Yes, I have come to the conclusion that that is really bad. A common thread with most, if not all, the teams that have landed in this disappointment countdown is injuries. Dallas had its share, and like any other team in the NFL, or any sport really, they didn't do as well while missing some of their best players. But there are two issues here. The first is Mike McCarthy and his inability to handle this kind of adversity. Already known as less than a Rhodes Scholar in terms of his game management and play calling, this lack of adaptability exposed the weaker areas of the Cowboys roster, in particular its depth. With defensive coordinator Dan Quinn moving on to become the head coach of the Washington Commanders, and doing so with great success, there was no one to coach the defense up to the point where they could even meet their potential. That is how a head coach with 3 straight 12-win seasons doesn't get an extension heading into the final year of his contract. When the season was over, that contract was not renewed. The second issue is the specific injury of one player, quarterback Dak Prescott. Prescott is a fine player, better than fine, and his backup, no matter who it is, will always be lesser than him. Missing 9 games, as he did this season, will affect the Cowboys' ability to win games, but it's not the sole deciding factor. But maybe this is. This would be the 6th biggest salary cap hits for the 2024 season for offensive players. Of course, the Cleveland Browns might be American professional sports' biggest dumpster fire, so having Deshaun Watson on top of this list seems appropriate. But Prescott is second. Was Dak Prescott the second best offensive player in the NFL in 2024? No, he wasn't the second best player on his own offense. His cap hit is 49% higher than Patrick Mahomes. Is Dak Prescott 49% better than Patrick Mahomes? I don't think so. Let's get the full top 10 now. Prescott's cap hit is 81.6% higher than Josh Allen's. Is he 81.6% better? Come on now. This takes away a team's ability to build a team. There is no one-man show in the NFL, not over the long term anyway. One man can do a lot, but Dak Prescott ain't that man. The Cowboys learned all this the hard way with their disappointing 2024 season. Well, maybe they learned it. Gaps of more than 1 point had been hard to come by for the majority of this countdown, but this next gap just missed 3 full points, with the 2024 Cowboys disappointment score crashing down to negative 36.657. How far can the next drop be when we make it to our number 6 entry? Make sure to join us when we release that video to find out who it's gonna be. The 2025 season remains ongoing as of the recording of this video. Without Mike McCarthy and with Dak Prescott, the Cowboys still have no real championship prospects on the near horizon. It probably doesn't shock you to hear that the NFL's longest-serving general manager is none other than Jerry Jones, holding that position since 1989. Not so coincidentally the same year that he bought the team. So you best believe he's not going anywhere until he, really goes away. Optimism burns brightly for every NFL team, but in the case of the Cowboys, I suppose only time will tell. Let's hear your thoughts about the 2024 Cowboys or anything Cowboys related. Is the league a better place when the Cowboys are contenders? Or do you take joy in watching them suffer? Sound off on any of this or anything else you may have on your mind down in the comments section below. Thank you once again for joining us today, and until next time, I hope you have an awesome day.